Fate of the Furious is the 8th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise, starring Vin Diesel and his merry band of superpowered street racers, this time directed by F. Gary Gray of Straight Outta Compton and Italian Job fame. This time, Vin Diesel's Dom has turned against his team after being forced into working for cyber-terrorist Cypher, played by Charlize Theron. And what we get is 2 hours of blood-pumping, testosterone-fueled vehicular carnage, which has taken the series to brand new, absurd heights. This is not an Oscar-winning film. This is dumb fun to the extreme, and Fast 8 oozes with charm, owning exactly what it is. Now, I wasn't really a fan of the series until Fast 5. Once the series started to become more of a heist action series, I started to jump on board, whereas the street racing car scene wasn't really my thing. And arguably Fast 7 or Furious 7, as it is known in some places, is where the series sort of starts to really become sort of the absurd, crazy superhero film that the series has sort of become known for now. And I have to admit, I'm kind of glad that they've embraced their balls out insanity, where instead of it just being a simple street racing Point Break ripoff, we're now kind of into the absurd, crazy, over the top, crazy car chases that have come to now kind of define what the Fast and the Furious franchise is, which is really what is making this franchise memorable and really is what has given it legs 17 years after the series originally began. In my mind, sort of think of this film as Pierce Brosnan's Bond films, but turned up to 11. Everything you kind of expect from GoldenEye just turned up to the absolute max. This film is insane. Now, the story in the film is really, as it has been with previous films, is really just a thread between all the car chases and action scenes, but you still get the charm of the characters and the same sort of family theme that has always been there throughout all of the films, and that's really what keeps the film together and keeps you interested and motivated to keep watching all this kind of insanity on screen. So in a way, you really are getting more of the same, which again will irritate and annoy some people, but if you love just pure escapism, just 2 hours of absolute non-stop fun and insanity, then you will have a great time and you'll love what you're getting here. Dwayne Johnson still arguably gets the best lines and is one of the most fun to watch on screen. Whenever he is on screen, he just commands a presence and just can't help but watch Dwayne Johnson. He's just got so much charm and so much likability to him. You just can't help but chuckle every time he sprays some of that charm onto someone. He's just a delight to these films, and he really was the best addition to this franchise all those years ago. But the chemistry between Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson is easily the best part of this film. Their scenes early on in the film in a prison sequence is one of the most entertaining sequences we've had all year. Just their banter between each other, not just there but throughout the film, is so much fun and so crazy and over the top, but you really can't help but want sort of a spin-off film with those two characters, or even just a film with Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham co-starring, because I think anyone could watch that and be easily entertained for a couple of hours. And honestly, where Jason Statham's character was a villain in the previous film, they sort of turn his character around and give him a bit of sympathy, and we kind of start to understand his character a bit, which, I mean, we've seen it happen before with villains that are turned into sort of heroes, but ultimately he does kind of steal the show towards the end, and I won't spoil what happens, but honestly he gets one of the best scenes in the entire film, and it's almost a make or break scene. And in other franchises, you'd look at it as kind of the jumping the shark moment where just everything kind of falls apart, but the way it's delivered here with Statham's charm and everything, it just works perfectly. In this film we have Charlize Theron as the villain, and she's just essentially a Bond villain, and honestly anyone could have really played her character, as she's just there to kind of antagonize and manipulate Dom. And she has, this unrelenting access to sort of all these different networks around the world. Her and her team are easily able to hack into almost anything, even for something as over the top as Fast and the Furious. Some of the ease that she has into hacking things around the globe kind of comes off just a bit too far-fetched for even this type of franchise, but for what Charlize Theron is sort of given, you don't really mind, and you're kind of there just to enjoy the thrill and the ride of the film rather than get too caught up with her character. Toretto betraying his family has a bit of a predictable but workable twist, which kind of works within the franchise and the story, so you kind of know what you're going to get and you know where it's kind of going, but it's played out nicely, and it eventually has a lot of really meaningful payoff off towards the end. The third act of the film, or basically the submarine scene, as most people have seen from the trailers, does go on for a bit too long. I feel like it does throw the pacing off a little bit, as the second act of the film is a bit slower and there's quite a bit of build up, but the third act is essentially that submarine. It's just absolute balls out insanity. Everything is over the top. I mean, Dwayne Johnson gets probably one of his finest action hero moments in any film he's been in. People who have seen the film will know which moment I'm talking about. It's kind of a culmination of everything you've come to expect from this franchise put into a solid half an hour of just absolute crazy action and car mayhem. But for me, probably the New York chase, or what is sort of referenced as the zombie car chase, is probably the best action scene in the film for me. I mean, it's the most creative. A lot of the work done in this scene is done with a lot of stunts and actual car chases and car crashes rather than a lot of the CG that's used later on in the film for the submarine action sequence, which obviously would require that sort of work. But seeing what these guys are able to do with real cars and how many ways they can smash up these beautiful, exotic, expensive cars is just kind of something else. And while it's sad to kind of see these types of cars get smashed so brilliantly, you just can't help but marvel at how much they're able to fit onto a screen and how much they have at their disposal. The work in just choreographing a car chase sequence like the New York car chase, probably the most inventive action sequence in the whole film. Even though most people will probably remember the submarine sequence the most, the New York car chase is definitely the one that has the freshest ideas in this entire film. Ultimately, I mean, Fast and Furious fans are going to eat this up. They're going to be the ones seeing it opening weekend. I mean, this film will probably make $1 billion like Furious 7. There is a nice little nod to Paul Walker in the film, and it's done with a lot of respect, and as it was handled in the last film, it's just great popcorn fun. I mean, some people who are more into, the serious drama films are probably going to be turned off or just ignore this completely, or haven't had any interest in the previous 7 films. Obviously would have made your mind up by now whether you're going to see this film or not. For Fast and Furious fans, or people just want just a great fun time at the movies, just pure escapism for 2 hours, you can't do wrong with Fate of the Furious. So Fate of the Furious gets a good solid 8 out of 10 from me. Go check it out if you just want a great popcorn film that you can just sit back and enjoy with a bunch of friends, laugh at the insanity that you're seeing on screen, because not many films at the moment are able to wear what type of film they are on their sleeve as proudly as Fast and the Furious. We might as well be around to enjoy that. Anyway guys, if you like this review, do hit the thumbs up button and comment below. Have you seen Fate of the Furious? Do you plan on seeing Fate of the Furious? Do let me know in the comments. If you want to see more content like this, do hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at The Mono Report. Thank you guys, and go enjoy Fate of the Furious.